I run, it aggravates my back. So
Hello, everybody.
Fisayo, what's up?
Welcome, Fisayo. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well, thanks. Good morning.
Good
You're
morning.
welcome. You're welcome. Very welcome.
Bigger picture. Business Express on Smooth 98.1.
Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. You're very welcome. It's time for today's edition, Tech Friday edition of Business Express 981. With me on the show are Rotus. Morning, Rotus. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you, Ayo. Good morning to you. Good morning to all our viewers. Good morning to our special guest.
Well. And Fisayo Durojaiye. Morning, Fisayo. How are you today?
Yes, I'm very well. Good morning, Aya. Good morning, Rotus. Good morning, Lagos. Thanks for having me.
You're smiling very well. We're loving the look. If you'd like to see Fisayo smile this morning, go onto our YouTube channel, youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. If you'd like to comment on his smile, you can also do that using the chat box option. And of course, don't forget to comment on our tech stories today. You can also send your message to our WhatsApp platform. WhatsApp is 0809 444 0981. A number of interesting stories this morning, Rotus. First off, is the Multichoice. Is it Multichoice drama or issue with FIRS, that's Federal Inland Revenue Service, also Stripe going public, reportedly going public, as well as concerns about cryptocurrency in the US. Please take us through these stories, Rotus.
So the FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service, apparently requested engage commercial banks to freeze the accounts of Multichoice Nigeria. They're claiming it's because of underpaid taxes. And from the language of the FIRS, they said that, Multichoice didn't give them access to their servers. And then I now read that they said, well, according to our investigations, we understand that Multichoice has operations across Africa, and they've got services in different African countries. And I'm like, isn't this known? We already know this now. So, Fisayo, how is it that Multichoice, a publicly traded company, which is on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, could be hiding subscription data from the FIRS to not pay its fair share of taxes? What do you make of this? By the way, they're for $4 billion. 4 billion, which is about 1.3 trillion naira. So,
I'm totally surprised with this because I got the story late, I would have investigated myself and showed, FIRS the data, right? Because Multichoice Africa, which is listed, publishes its accounts publicly, right? At least in South Africa. And as part of that group accounting that it does, it has to report its operations in Nigeria as part of that accounting. So it would be surprising to say that they are hiding information, because you can essentially get the group account and see the revenue contribution from all the subsidiaries, and then be able to say, okay, this is what you made from Nigeria, and then be able to, tax that appropriately, right? If the Nigerian subsidiary is not giving you the information that you require, right? So I think that's strange that the FIRS thinks that they can get all the information that they require from Multichoice Nigeria. The article also mentioned that yes, Multichoice Nigeria did not tell them the number of subscribers they have. They don't tell them the number and how much they make in revenue. So that doesn't sound right. I know companies, well, not like I know, but I've heard of companies having different accounts, one for the taxman, one for internal use, right? That is the practice I'm aware of, that companies do, so that they pay lower taxes, but not like they blatantly refuse to show the taxman anything, right? Which is what the FIRS is accusing Multichoice Nigeria of doing. Then of course, then the question is that how did FIRS, get to this arbitrary number of about a trillion naira, over a trillion naira, in tax liability owed, right? I think they just, plucked some number out of thin hair and just said, yes, this is the amount. If I investigate properly, I don't know if Multichoice makes that much in revenue from Nigeria alone, right? So it doesn't make sense that they owe that much in taxes already. So again, it's just difficult to say. That's number one. And number three, right? I've not had DSTV in my house for over 4 years. Right. And of course, I had a decoder, but it's not been active, in my house for years because there's alternative. Once there is broadband internet, there is, at least in Lagos, right? Once there is broadband internet, it means I can have access to video on demand, pay some other subscription. I maybe access movies, access football if I want to watch, leveraging the internet, right? So I think it's one of the Multichoice things that business is great for the taxman thinks that business is great for Multichoice. I think that if you look deeper, the business might have been on a steady decline, in Nigeria, especially as internet penetration continues to grow, right? So I think that's what the taxman is also not put in consideration. So maybe they're like, how can they be paying us this small amount? Are you not making big money? So again, sometimes because you don't understand the context of the business, you can just give them you can expect more from because they are DSTV. But now I think the landscape has changed largely, right? And then the requirement to pay for DSTV or for cable TV is actually not as high. When people pay for Netflix, people pay for for other things to entertain them, right? Rather than DSTV, which is larger than football and a few other things that you require there, right? So I think that's where the biggest challenges are.
Just for context, so I need to just put this context in. So I quickly looked at their financials. They just released their full year financials ending March 2021. In total, they brought in, and the subscriber numbers are there. I wish I had screenshot it and shared it, but I'll do that next time. Total revenues was 54 billion rand. If you convert that to dollars, it's $3.7 billion. That's total revenue for full year. And FIRS is looking for $4 billion in taxes.
How about some of the concerns I had about the report was that they mentioned that Multichoice had refused them access to seeing their books and seeing their subscriber numbers, seeing the monies they're making. So I don't know how Rotus is able to get hold of that, maybe because that's not from the Nigerian context, but saying that they don't have access to how possible is this in terms of them repeatedly denying FIRS access to their books?
That's what I'm saying. Listen, go ahead.
I mean, it's difficult for that to happen. I mean, if you run business in Nigeria, tax authorities come regularly. And of course, there's hostilities between accountants or your finance department and tax authorities every time that happens, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be outright denial of access to books. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense that they do that, right? And of course, like I said, that you can as well just go, because the parent company is a publicly traded company. The books are public. You can see the account
exactly
publicly, right? So if FIRS says they can't access all of that, they can't get the Nigerian entity to submit, which is difficult, and I don't know how possible that is. You can as well go to the parent and get the accounting information that you require, right? Because some of these accounts are audited by some of the biggest audit firms, across the world. In fact, some of these accounts are also audited in Nigeria. So between the big four, you probably find the auditor to Multichoice Nigeria. You probably find their tax consultants to Multichoice Nigeria. So it's hard to believe, when the FIRS says that they are not giving them information. And I think that's I can say that that's probably a lie. What it is.
Multichoice has 20.9 million subs. Again, I just went to define. I wish I had shared this. It's there. 20.9 subscribers actually grew despite the issues with COVID. They actually grew like a small growth, but 20.9 million subscribers, 8 million South Africa, the rest of them 11.9 or so from
they have some in terms of growth in their numbers. They have some reality shows that a number of Nigerians, I mean, BBN is one of the biggest reality shows in Nigeria, and that's on their platform. So I would understand how numbers would grow. They've also introduced some music reality shows as well. So maybe you don't like their content of movies, but reality show wise, Nigerians are loving it. Benga Kamu says, people get away with all sorts in Nigeria. Multichoice will respond, right? And I'm livid with the programming of DSTV these days. Then D from Alausa says, you cannot get Nigerian accounts from group accounts. You may get sectoral, e.g. West African, etc. FIRS has a right to demand and receive information from Multichoice without much ado.
So does it add up to sorry. Does that add up to $4 billion? I mean, sometimes you have to like take your finger and knock it against your forehead to try and make sense of some of these numbers. How do you get to $4 billion when the total revenue for the entire company, for all its operations across Africa, came to 3.7 billion? That's revenue. That is top line revenue. You deduct costs and everything else. Your profit will now come down to something in the millions. How do you now get $4 billion in taxes?
For Nigeria alone.
From Nigeria. Come on now.
All right, so I had this question that Dot's asking as well, or this concern and question to you, Rotus and Fisayo. He says, this feels like a witch hunt, and we speak of ease of doing business. So I was going to ask you that what is the impact of this action by the FIRS on, foreign organizations that are coming? We're talking about, and we looked at that report yesterday from Stanbic, Rotus, as to how FDI is just one of the
since 2014. Yeah.
So what's the impact of this?
Their shares dropped. Their shares dropped about 5 to 7% in Johannesburg yesterday on the news. So if you are a shareholder and you own stock in the company, you've lost money. So they lost money yesterday. Multichoice actually responded. They responded this morning or yesterday saying that they haven't got any official notification from the federal government, but they have to be polite. They said, look, we didn't get any notification. We'll work with them. Which other South African company has had this trouble with Nigerian government? Can you think of one?
Yes, I was going to mention MTN. Yes.
I mean, you can see what's going on here.
Who's next? Yes, who's next? All right, so D from Alausa is back. So just to mention, and I wanted to ask. Okay. So that the $4 billion is cumulative over several years. So it's not just one financial year. So in terms of you talking about their revenue, but if you look at the amount of money they make in 1 year, how many years?
Exactly.
Well, maybe it's over 50 years, right? If it's over 50 years, I'll get that. But I mean, this is cumulative for over. Is more than the group revenue, right? Nigeria contributes about maybe 11-12% of that. If taxes you owe is now more than your group revenue in a year, I mean, you probably be owing it for over 50 years, right? So, and I don't think this was here for 50 years yet, right? So, I mean, it's difficult to believe. It's difficult to chew, right? I think that's where the problem is. And of course, addressing, Ayo's question around, behaviors. How this affects foreign, businesses in Nigeria. I think sometimes when we act like this, you don't understand the ripple effects of some of the things that happen afterwards. I mean, FIRS does not need to bring this to the media at all. They could have had a way to have these conversations privately, because I don't think that it's any company operating in Nigeria has the right to deny FIRS access to their books. It doesn't make sense that you're a company and you do that. FIRS has access to the law, to the full faith of the federal government behind it. You can use the police to get access. You can get court injunctions. You don't have to get to the media to start shouting, freeze their accounts. No, because what other foreign companies will see is that if banks do this to you, if FIRS does this to you, just freeze your account. They can't do anything. You can't pay your staff. You can't do. And these guys are employing Nigerians, by the way. And so, like, they're using South Africans to be doing their work here in Nigeria, right? You can't do all of this. It sends speak now to other, companies, and like, okay, well, I'd rather go to Ghana. I'd rather go to, and we've started seeing that happen. It's behavior like this that is just, stifle growth across the sector. And they're talking about creating jobs. You don't just create jobs. It's companies that employ people. So you can't just create, jobs. And if you continue to act like this to companies, those jobs they are looking to create will not happen. right? So I think it's just totally responsible from every sector to be, I mean, for people to just be acting like this, right? The same thing with MTN. It's just fine, you know. People would not do business with Nigeria. People will not make investments in Nigeria, and that's what will happen. That's what's going to happen, and you're stuck with Dangote. That would, anyways.
You just say stuck with. Anyways, I'm out of time, so we can't even delve into that statement, which I think was saved by the time today. Thank you so much, Fisayo Durojaiye. Thank you, Rotus. And it's such, I mean, thanks to all our listeners and those who are watching and have put comments on YouTube saying that they're just watching this play out. Others have said it's good for the optics, while people said, oh, what happened to Fowler? How come Fowler didn't flag this up if this is over the years, you know, since he was immediate past chairman of FIRS? Well, this just emerged yesterday, so we look forward to getting more details with regards to what will happen eventually. Are they going to come to a settlement deal like MTN did with the federal government, or I don't know. Well, thank you. We continue next week. Tech Fridays on Fridays here on Business Express 981. Business as usual is from Monday to Thursday, 6:30 a.m. to 6:45 a.m. All right, Lagos and Nigeria. We continue the show, that Smooth Breakfast Show. However, don't forget to join us at 7:30 for today's edition of Freshly Pressed 981, detailed analysis of the day's national news headline stories. Before then, enjoy some smooth music here on Smooth 98.1. I'm Mairo-Ese with Valentine this morning.
Focus on the Nigerian economy.